All right, welcome, ladies. We're back with another interview, and today we have Stephanie. And I wanted to dive into these topics and kind of pull back the curtains with women who are craving more, wanting more in their life, because it's a really great opportunity to know, one, you're not alone, two, you're human, and three, anything is possible. So welcome, Stephanie.
Hi, Heather.
I love you. And I love having you here. So I always say thanks for being courageous enough to lay it all out there, because no, we're not alone, right?
No, absolutely.
Awesome. So in this series, it's all about just getting clarity on what you truly crave in your life. And these are in all aspects of your life. So where are you now, and what are you currently working on?
So right now I am working to build a business, because I have been out of the workforce for a little while. I was a teacher in a previous life, as I kind of like to say. And so that was a salaried job, right? Nice and stable. I always had a paycheck every 2 weeks. I knew how much it was going to be, and I had a really predictable pay scale. And now, having been out of that career for a little while, I'm looking to take this business, this coaching women's business, mothers in particular, around the areas of depression and anxiety. And I'm looking to take that and grow it into something that's going to help people, as well as bring me some financial stability.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And so what do you think is stopping you or slowing you down from getting there?
Well, that's kind of why I decided to participate in this, why I put myself out there, because I'm not really clearly able to see what it is that's stopping me.
Okay.
I have some fantastic support. I've been working with another coach and doing some work with her. And hi.
This is his thing. Every time I'm on a call, he comes in.
Just poke in and see what's going on. And so I'm getting some clarity around the daily habits and things that I need to be maintaining to build this into a business that's going to bring me some financial stability. But outside of what I'm seeing there, I'm seeing really slow financial growth is
Right.
What's happening. And it's not, I'm like chomping at the bit for it to grow faster.
Okay. So what is it that you do want in your business? So we know who you want to help. So what is that, with more clarity of what specifically that looks like? So tell me about, because we were talking about the money piece before. So tell me about what that looks like. How much money do you want to be making monthly?
Okay, I'm bringing in anywhere right now between, I would say, $300 and $800 every month, depending on the month and what's going on.
Okay.
I would love to bring it up to probably about $3,000 a month, so match my husband's income monthly. I would love to exceed it, but at this point, I can't even see my way clearly to matching it, right?
So when you say $3,000 a month, how does that feel in your body?
It feels good. It feels right. Like pushing past that feels too big, impossible, right? Meeting his income feels possible.
Okay. So what do you think is stopping you or slowing you down from meeting his income?
What comes up is putting it out there and asking for what it's worth.
Okay. All right. So, yeah. So sometimes and I'm just bringing this awareness for everyone, right? Because I hear this a lot about, I'm taking action. It's not that I'm not taking action or avoiding it. It's, I'm putting in the work. But yet when we have this like unconscious belief or something that's stopping us of like actually putting ourselves out there so that people know that it's there. It's like having, a brick and mortar business and like you have the close sign on, but you're really sitting there at the desk and you're like, why aren't people coming in? Right. Yeah. So it's like an energetic block of success. So what do you believe the fear is that's holding you back from really putting yourself out there?
I know exactly what it is. It's that if I put myself out there and nobody takes advantage, if I do all the work and I take the steps and I put it out there and I hang my signs out and I open up the door and everything's ready for people to come in and nobody comes in.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you have any evidence that that's going to happen?
I have no evidence that that's going to happen.
Right. So
And actually, every time I step out a little further, people step a little closer.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're just, you, when you turn the sign to open, even if it's for a few days or a week, people are like, yay, she's here.
Yeah.
Right. So you're contradicting that, because the fear of nobody's going to want it, nobody's going to show up. And then when you take the steps to be visible, people show up. So what's the real fear?
I don't know. And that's why I'm here. Because I can even see that, what you just said, right? I've even been able to see that when I take steps out, people step closer, but the fear's still there.
Right. Right. Okay. So there was another interview that I did with a woman named Dorrit, and she, very similar, where it was like, I've invested in myself, meaning I have the education, I know what I'm talking about, I do it all the time, and I'm in this cycle. I read all the books, I do everything that I'm supposed to be doing, and I listen to the podcast, and I surround myself with inspiration, and yet there's something that's stopping me.
Yeah.
And I ask her if she's truly committed to doing what it takes to achieving the lifestyle that she truly craves. And so I'm going to ask you that same question.
And, I wonder, I would love to say a resounding yes, that I am absolutely willing to do what it takes, because I have had some amazing growth in the last couple of years. But at the same time, you know what? I like the comfort of being able to sit down and watch a movie and take a whole day off, mm-hmm. and kind of step back when I don't really feel like doing what it takes, even though I know that that's what's required.
Right. And even that in itself is kind of a fear mask, right? Because you can have those days. You can have those days where you're like, you know what? I'm going to really create some momentum for this month. And then next month, I'm going to take more time off. It's like a give and take every day, right? It's like this very vulnerable place of, I need to take action to cultivate certain things. And then other days where I'm like, nope, that's the brilliance of time freedom. And that's the brilliance of running your own business, is you are your schedule, right?
Yes. And so maybe that's part of it, is that I feel like in order to step out and become a little bigger, for lack of a better way to put it, that I would have to consistently show up that way every single day. Right. And that I would lose that comfort space, that ability to step back and self-nurture and spend time with my family and take full days where I'm not paying attention to my business at all.
Right. Yeah. And the great thing is when you want that and you cultivate that in your life, you can create that. Right. Mm-hmm. So at the beginning, I always use this analogy of like creating the momentum. So having like a train, and the energy output that it takes to get the train started and moving on the tracks. And then after the momentum is gained, it's like effortless.
Right. It just keeps going kind of on its own.
Right. So it's the momentum and the output, the energy output of when people are starting to cultivate the life that they truly crave, whether that's in a relationship with their child, whether that's in a business, whether it's, how they feel within themselves. It's the momentum that they're cultivating and creating. Now, but when you're being, kind of, I don't want to say blocked, but when you're being put up against this conscious or unconscious limiting belief and story of, can I actually do this? And holy shit, I can actually do this.
Yeah.
The fear of success, the fear of failure, all of the fears that like every human being has becomes very, very strong to the point where we don't believe that it's possible because this force is so strong. And you truly become aware of the integrity and the power of like the human spirit and source, because you're being bottlenecked to say, you're being called out on your shit pretty much, right? You're saying, how bad do you want this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you're questioning everything. So what is your big why, Stephanie? Why do you want to cultivate change in your life? Why do you want to run this business? Why do you want to become that person?
Well, my big why is really, really big. It's global big, like global human consciousness big, because I feel like we're at a tipping point. And I kind of think we always stand at a tipping point to a certain extent as a species, as a planet. But I feel like the time that we're in now feels particularly crucial. And when I realized that, it was, okay, well, knowing this, I can't do anything else but work for, moving in this direction.
Right. And so moving in that direction, knowing your bigger why and how that it plays on the global spectrum, right? The bigger picture. What about on a micro spectrum of like you becoming that person? How would that shift how your children grow up?
Well, because in particular we're talking about finances, for my family, it's that I would love to be able to, my son sees something in a store one day and I would love to just be able to say, you know what? Yeah, no problem. I can pick that up. Mm-hmm. Or, my kids want to go to take a train trip to Toronto. I would love to not look at the via rates and go, whoa, and say I can't because I can't afford it. I want to be able to provide that to them. I want to be able to save for an education and save for our retirement and do that comfortably and not have to deprive us of any kind of material comforts. I want to have that ease around my money.
Awesome. So what's the belief that you have to cultivate in order to create ease around money?
That money is easy.
Mm-hmm. And do you believe that right now?
That's something I've been working on. I actually, if I could show it to you right up here, I just put on my phone lock screen this saying. What does it say here? If you claim I'm broke, I don't have a dime, the universe says, yes, you're right. Mm-hmm. If you claim I'm very prosperous, I always have a lot of money, the universe says, yes, you're right. And so I've been working with that affirmation for the last couple of days, trying to shift that belief, because I think that there are some kind of deeper beliefs around money. Like my dad always worked really hard for money, and there was a time when we had a fair amount of money, but in my family, my foundational family, there were beliefs around money, that you exchange time for money, that what you provide has to be consistent and valuable in order to be able to ask for a certain amount of money. And you can't ask for, you can't ask for that much. That's unreasonable. Who has that money? Right? Mm-hmm. So there's those beliefs around money, I think, that I'm working to release them. I'm just sort of uncovering them and coming to realize that I've lived with that because I've always exchanged time for money. Right? I went through periods where I had jobs where I was working for a really low hourly wage. I had a hard time finding jobs that paid me what I felt I was worth. I've lost jobs. So there is that kind of scarcity mindset, I think, a little bit around money in my history.
Right. So scarcity is an energy. It's just a thought. It's just, like you said, it's a mindset, but it's just an energy. So when people wake up, or when people just have a thought of like, oh, and I'm using parenthood as an example, not so much money, or like, oh, I don't have enough, or, oh, if I do this, my child is going to suffer or struggle, or, if I'm not the helicopter parent, this is going to happen, or if I do this, this is going to happen. And when you start to question those thoughts and those beliefs and ask yourself, is this true? And the feedback that you receive is, no, it's not. Like, do you have any evidence that that is going to happen? When your response is no, then what happens is you start to cultivate and take action in the direction that you still want to go. But what happens is you're butting up against this belief, and it's like a bully, because it's going to be so present in your being, and it's going to feel like a contraction. That's all it is. It's a growth contraction. So when you're saying, you know what? Yes, I'm a coach, and this is how much I charge. So do you have a program or a package that you're cultivating right now, that you're creating?
I do, actually. I've just finished making the first launch video for a program that I'm going to be putting out there, which is specifically around helping women shift from depression and anxiety and move down that path of kind of self-cultivated healing.
Right. And so how much is your program going to be?
It's a 90-day program, and it is for the beta launch that I'm putting out right now. It's $497.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So to tell when someone says, I don't have $500, and they're like, I can't afford this, Stephanie. Mm-hmm. Then what story comes up for you?
Well, of course you can't afford it. It's $500. I know what it's like to not be able to afford $500.
Right.
Because I do. I know exactly what it's like to have somebody tell me this is how much it is, and for me to immediately say, I don't have that money. I know what it's like.
Right. Yeah. So understanding that our internal reality mirrors that, right? Because I always tell people, the whole point of Mom is in Control is the essence of when we know how to control something in our life, then we can teach that to other people, right?
Absolutely.
So when we're cultivating this in our life, whether it's what we're charging or what we want to create in our life, we start with what feels comfortable. So I remember when I started my practice, and I came from the therapy background, which is always, people still ask me, how much is a session with you? And I say, I don't do sessions.
No, I do packages.
How much is an hour? Like, I don't do hourly rate. So then, I'll tell them my price, and they're dividing it by the time. And they're like, oh my gosh, you charge $500 an hour. And I'm like, no, I don't, because I will never just be an hour with you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not about the time. It's about the results that your client wants. So when someone comes in and they say to me, I want XYZ, I say, okay, great, let's go for it, right? It's not about the time. It's about, are they committed to actually making it happen? Because what happens is there's this desire that we want. So we have soul desire. And then we have like intellectual knowing of like, I know what's stopping me, la-di-da-di-da-da-da.
Yeah.
I know what I want, but the actions have to be in alignment with what we want. So sometimes knowing, okay, if I run this program, or if I launch this program and I get this many clients, I'm going to make X amount of dollars. But are you ready to launch that? Do you have the community already? Have you had those conversations with people and asked for the money, right? I remember the first program I registered for taught me how to create like an info product. And I invested all this time and energy on creating this info product. And then I put it out there and nobody bought it.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because nobody knew about it. Because it was I was open for business, but the close sign was there because I didn't know how to cultivate community. I just thought you put it out there, these people are going to come.
And I've cultivated a community. I've got a community now. It's almost 250 women, which is fantastic. And there's a fair amount of engagement, although you'll know that engagement kind of peaks and valleys over time, right?
Yeah.
So it's a good community. People are talking and people feel safe there. So I have that piece, and I know that at the launch of this, that I'll get at least some response back. And I don't want to say I'll get tons of response back, right? Because, well, what if I don't? Then I'll be all disappointed.
Right.
That self-protection piece of not getting too excited.
Right.
Putting too much on it.
Yeah. And so you launch it, you see what it is, and you see how you can get more results, right? Yeah. And it's the bigger picture is getting out of our own way to see what we truly want to cultivate in our lives, and knowing that when we have doubt, fear, and worry, it's not about us. We're allowing it to be about us. It's about the bigger picture, right? Because when we're getting stuck in our own way, we're not paving that path for the cultivation for those women that are coming in. Because if we stay stuck, right? So you think about the person who's had the biggest influence on your life, who maybe you've written that book or whatever that may have been. If they decided not to step into purpose and just to play small, they wouldn't have been able to be such an impact in your life, right? So this is like a daily habit of getting out of our own way to cultivate what we truly crave and desire in our own life.
Can you dig a little bit more into that notion of it's not, when we're getting in our own way, it's not about us, it's about the bigger picture?
Yeah. So, okay. So I'll give you an example about children's behavior, just because that is a big one for me.
Yeah.
And I see it's a huge myth for parents. So a parent will say, my child's not listening to me. How do I get my child to listen to me? And I'm like, well, it has nothing to do with you, actually. Or my child's having a tantrum, and they won't stop, and it's driving me nuts.
Yeah.
Well, we're paying attention. We're not listening to the child. And so the child's behavior is a reflection of their own experience. It has nothing to do with how you parented them. How we parent them is a reflection of our relationship with them. But it doesn't matter if you tell someone to go fuck off or if you tell them you love them. How they react is their own personal experience.
Right.
So we have to get outside of our own way and remove those emotions and say, what is this child really, really experiencing? So we have to get out of our ego, even if there's shame and there's guilt there, and say, what are they experiencing? Okay, they feel out of control in their own body and their own mind. So I need to learn how to cultivate getting that child support, the support that they need, or becoming that person to support them. So when it's shifted into business, I have a choice of whether I want to run my business or not. That's Absolutely. My choice. But when you get down this path and you choose to live a purpose-based life and to do work that really lights you up, it scares you even more. Why? Because it's in alignment with your purpose, and we're always running away from that because the ego is trying to protect us. And as humans, we're using our fight or flight response to constantly protect us. So when you're attracted to helping women with depression and anxiety, that's in alignment with, a path that, like, part of your story, and you've healed from that, and now you're the teacher and the healer. So you're going to be attracted to teaching this, but getting out of your own way of, like, when your money stuff's of, like, I'm not worthy of it, or nobody's going to buy it from me. You're putting up all these barriers, but yet there's these women on the other side that are saying, Stephanie, I'm just waiting for you to fully show up so that I can be healed, so that you can support me and guide me. So everyday practices of doing energetic management, getting the support that you need to have that accountability and that village around you, to really hold yourself accountable to say, this has nothing to do with me. I am the vessel. I am the vessel for healing, and it has nothing to do with me. Like, I am just the vessel of healing for these women who are coming in to work with me. So that if they don't think I'm good enough, or if they think I didn't provide what they needed, or if the results are not based on what my ego wants them to be, they've gotten what they need from me, and I am the vessel. And the energy piece, the money piece, has nothing to do with money. So when I started working with people, I was charging $300 a month. And before that, I'm sure I was charging, like, on an hourly basis. But I remember when I really stepped into the coaching, and I was, like, terrified of, like, I don't charge hourly rate anymore. I charge monthly. Yeah. $300 a month. And I was attracting people who were not highly committed to the work, because they were putting $300 energetically into that. And so for one person, $300 a month could be a lot. Yeah. But those people who were like, oh my gosh, $300 is, like, a lot of money for me, they showed up energetically different than the person was like, oh yeah, $300 is easy. No problem. And they weren't fully committed to it. So now, where I'm at in my level of coaching and transformation, it has nothing to do with me just saying, oh, I want to charge more because I want to make more. I need to energetically, the person on the other side needs to be, they need to have that holy shit moment. Do I actually want this transformation? Because they need to be energetically aligned with how I'm going to be coaching them, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. You're asking for an investment of self. It's just represented in dollars.
Yeah. So when you're getting started, and this is what I recommend for everyone, have that area where you feel a comfortable discomfort, where it's not too high and it's not too low, and you're like, I could say this without vomiting. Yeah. Like I
can say that amount, and I'm comfortable with that, because I recognize that actually, as far as kind of the peers go, my peers in the same area go, it's actually a fairly low amount. And so that's comfortable for me.
Yeah. And so you start there and you gain momentum, and you have a few people, you get them on the phone, right? It doesn't even need to be a program. You get them on the phone and you say, okay, like, let's talk. Let's see if it's a good fit. This is where I'm at. Like they're saying, this is where I'm at. You're like, okay, like, let's try this. And then you try and you're like, great, awesome. And then it just goes from there. Yeah. And you build off there. Awesome. So what I like to do with people as well is some tapping and EFT, and really, really getting a layer deeper. So if you want to do that, we can do that now, Stephanie. All right, so just with your eyes closed and tapping points, so I guess you can open your eyes first and then you'll know what points I'm using, but I'm sure you're familiar with EFT.
Yeah.
So just here, you could use one hand or two hands under the eyes, under the nose, chin, collarbone, and I use under the arms, so I look like a monkey. Go to the head.
Feel a little bit like a monkey.
Yeah, so just with your eyes closed, just really cultivating trust and authenticity, and asking yourself, where is this block showing up in my being right now? And let me know where it is. Where do you feel it?
In my chest, like here at the heart solar plexus area.
Okay. And so with your eyes closed, looking in and staring at, or not staring, but focusing on that energy. What does it feel like? What does it look like?
Like a cork in a bottle.
Mm. So what does it need to leave?
Trust is coming up.
Okay. So what can you do? What actions can you take? And what kind of, what can you visualize right now that will allow you to trust more and allow this cork to kind of pop or leave your solar?
I know I need to release that. I know I need to trust that the money's going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And this is something that I've been working with for a little while.
But right now in this moment, not worried about what you've been working on, but right now in this moment, what do you visually need to do to be able to trust so that cork can leave your energy field right now?
See $10,000 in my bank account.
Okay, well then visualize that right now. Visualize $10,000 in your bank account.
See, that shifts things. You feel that shift.
Mm-hmm.
Feel it open right up.
So checking into the energy in the solar plexus. Is there anything else there that needs to be cleared?
That's amazing. That shifted that energy completely.
Mm-hmm.
That opened that right up.
Awesome. And so what do you want to bring into your being right now? Because now that we have this space, it's very easy to fill it up with the same thing. So what do you want to bring into that space where the cork used to be?
That trust.
Okay.
That trust piece, that ability to stay open and maintain that feeling of prosperity.
Awesome. So what would that look like visually?
You're going to laugh. You know, when we have our kind of feminine appointments and that little tool that they use to keep everything open, that was what kind of, that kind of I need something that's going to do that, right?
Okay.
Going to hold it open.
Yeah. Okay, so visualize that. And I love that you're so open to this process, because it's very quick for the ego or the monkey mind to go in and be like, I don't know. So just seeing that, it's like a cervix opener or whatever it is. Seeing that device holding that space, because I'm seeing like the heart opening, right? It's like, it's just holding it open, and you're bringing in the trust. It's holding it for you. It's holding the doors. So you don't even have to put the pressure on yourself that you need to hold it open. You're being supported. The walls are being opened. So when you think of trust, what color do you see?
Well, probably because I'm in the solar plexus and the heart, it's yellow and green.
Okay, so just bringing that in. So just visually seeing that. And then let me know when you feel like, the flow has stopped, like as much that's going to get in there today has gotten in there.
All right, that's slowed down.
Perfect. So I almost see like a closing as well. So solar plexus are closed and it's like they're holding it in there. It's sacred.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then just slowly opening your eyes and asking yourself, what action do I need to take right now today to be in alignment with what you truly desire?
Well, I already have a few things on the docket today. But you know what? I need to edit that video and put it out.
Awesome.
And you just need to chop the beginning and the end off of it. Otherwise, it'd be out there already, right? I just have those two pieces. And you know what stopped me yesterday was not knowing how to do it in my editor.
Right. Yeah.
So I need to do that today.
Awesome. All right. Well, that's it, Steph. You did it. You did it. We're taking action. We're making shit happen.
Love it.
All right, ladies, thank you for watching. If going to the next level in your life, your work, your parenting, your relationships, and truly creating that essence of a thriving life is something that both excites you and scares the shit out of you, I invite you to head on over to momisincontrol.com/MIIC and check out the Mom is in Control Mastermind. If you're feeling called at any way, there's a gut saying yes, I want you to fill out the application on that page. And once you filled it out, we will be in touch to get on the phone with you to say, is this a right fit? Is this not a right fit? And how can we make it happen? So know that just by filling out the application, you're not obligated to join. So head on over to momisincontrol.com/MIIC. And I look forward to reading your application. And just know, Mama, you are not alone. We are all in this together, and we all have these fears, these wants, and these blocks. But knowing how to get out of your own way and cultivate the life that you crave while being the parent that you truly want to be is my jam. So thank you, Stephanie, for your time and your energy. And I look forward to seeing your launch and all the women that you're changing.
I'm excited.
Yes. Thanks, guys. Talk soon.